What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to be working on the hog. Had a big exciting video planned. We actually got some brand new bars on there. There should be a 12-inch rise, ape hanger, meat hooks. So this is going to be kind of like a how-to. It's also going to be just kind of me documenting. Let's see how this goes. As we go along with the video, we're going to just do a quick little beer counter there. So this one's starting off with a non-beer. And let's get started. All right, on to the best part of the day. We're gonna bust our first nuts. So we have two. This here is a T27 on about approximately a 6-inch extension. You got a nut right there. Let me get you in here. Right there. That's nut number 2. So, as per usual, just go ahead and get in there and get dirty with it. Here's nut number 1. Number 1 down. Nut number 2. That's number 2. Then we're going to turn our bars and then go over to the other side. Let's go ahead. And as you can see, I'm just on the ground here. This is fine for me. Should be fine for you too. All right, guys. Now we're going to do the other side. So we have 2 more holes just like the last time. Looking right there, that's number 1, and there's number 2. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get in on the other side here. One thing you guys might be questioning me on is, hey, chicken, is that actually 6 inches? And, well, don't worry about it. The big ones hurt, but should be. So anyways, here's number 1. There's that. Let this be a reminder that it's not about the size, it's about the motion of the ocean. Even the ultra mediums need love too. All right. So now we should have 3 bolts to loosen up here. That's going to unlock our windshield. You see we got the old clockworks there. Represent. Let's just oh, there we go. There's 1 loose. In case you're wondering, no, it's not supposed to do that. But let's go ahead and move on to the other 2. I'm still using a T27. All right, guys, so we just got these 2 bolts left. As you saw, this one was already loose. There is a fix for that. I'm not going to do it today because, well, it's Sunday. The Harley store is not open, and I think you can find this stuff on Amazon, so I think I'd rather do that. I'll maybe make another video about that should I actually do the work. So we're going to go ahead and start. I think I'm going to do this one first and then do this one, and then it should be coming all over me. I mean, well, you get the point. So there's number 1. And here's number 2. And as you can see, the fairing is starting to kind of let go a little bit. The outer fairing should come completely loose and kind of fall towards me. Then we're going to unplug the headlight. There she is. Got that out. Pick this up. And this here is the connector that you're going to want to actually come loose. I have an aftermarket headlight in the front. Yours may have more connectors. Yours may have less. If you have less, you probably got a problem because I got 1. But anyways, let me go ahead and get that taken care of, and then we'll get this big boy out of the way. Hey, what are you looking at? My eyes are up here, pal. Okay, next up, we have 2 bolts on the side of our turn signal housing right here. We're stepping up to the $5 foot long with a T40 on the tip. Let's go ahead and make that happen. So again, we got these 2 right here. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you should be in the off position. which is for lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. If you've been going righty-loosey, well, click off of this. Go see a mechanic. You messed up dearly. But anyways, back to the video. It actually wasn't that tight. There's number one. This one's got a washer on it. Keep that in mind. There's number two. Just want to show where that connector is here. This right here is the wire coming from our turn signal. And it kind of, at least on my bike, it routes kind of up and back. And it seems like it finds its way to be about right here. We're just going to go ahead and pull that. I'm going to need 2 hands for that right there. But push that button in, separate it, and then we're going to move on with our life. At this point in the video, we've busted several nuts together, but now may be a good time for me to tell you that we are not looking for a commitment. Anyways, there's one more. There's one more. Let's go ahead and make that happen. So again, T40, $5 foot long. Let's go ahead and make this one happen here. There's one nut busted. There's that one there. I'm trying to make a point to use just hand tools. This isn't complicated, guys. Although, be gentle, because this is my first time. Same idea. You see our wiggle one up in here. We're just going to go ahead and there we go. Next, we're just going to pull its underwear off real quick. Just take that guy. Should be pretty loose. Just going to pop right there. And there she is. Whoosh. All right, so this is my bike. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it real quick as we go on to our next step. And we're going to be talking about this switch right here, okay? So underneath the switch, there's a little button right there, right? So it's key to take this, turn it to the right. We're going to hit this button. We're going to take our actual physical key right here, and we're going to turn it, from what I understand, the wrong way as we do a little something under there, and it should just come right up and off of there. For those of you wondering, yes, it was that easy. All right, I just loosened that up with some pliers. It really wasn't too tight. It was just a little bit more than what I had to offer by hand. So taking that one off, this one, pull it straight up. There we go. So a little lock nut, and that's on the floor now. So you got your lock nut, you got your plastic, and then you got your metal. Then we're just going to lift this up and out, just like that. There's supposed to be little locating tabs. It looks like my bike has been worked on before, which doesn't surprise me at the mileage. Yours may vary. Now we're going to come back with Ultra Medium here, and we got 2 T27s on either side of the bike right there, and then the same on the other side here. Let's go ahead and bust that nut. There's this one. And here's number 2. Again, there's your dash. Bam, right there. T27, baby. That's 2 of them. So now we're just going to take the dash, this lower piece right here, and we're going to try to find a way to work it up and out. And there she is. And we got one clip right here. Looks like the locking tab is on the back side right there. So you're just going to do that. Bam, she's out. Now it's time to spread them. So we're going to grab about right here and about right here, and then we're going to pull it apart, lift up, thrust, you know, knock her loose. Now that we know we're making progress, time to hydrate. Here's real beer number 1. So what I'm pulling on is this orange piece right here. You gotta really get her up and off of there. Just like that. Just like that. There she is. Bam. Right there. That's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this off of there. This has 2 bolts right here. Chances are your bike doesn't have one. If it does, this specific one right here, throw it away. I hated this one. This one actually lost me my phone at like midnight in the dark in the country at an intersection. I had to stop my bike and go find it in the dark. Luckily, I had a little battery pack with a flashlight on it, and I was able to hunt my phone down. The back of my phone shattered now. This right here, no bueno, not good. Don't buy one. T25 on ultra medium. Still using the 6-inch extension, of course. So I've already taken out one of those. I'll go ahead and take out the top, and then we'll see if we get that grip back. The bottom one right here is the one that I already took out. Just gonna go ahead and open her up. Gonna anticipate parts dropping. We'll see what happens here. There's that at least. Grip. Ah, there she is, baby. There's the Gorilla Grip. Going back over to the T27. So now, same thing over here. We're going to be mindful of our master cylinder. So we got those 2 right there. We have that guy right there. And there's probably another one somewhere under here. So let's go ahead and get all those off of there. Pull our grip. And then we will move that out of the way. And then we got all kinds of cable ties holding in our wiring on both sides. We'll get all that off of there. And then should be able to get them out. Good time. We're going to reintroduce the T25. And again, bolt on top. Bam. Got that all the way out. Should be one on the bottom. So it's looking like on this one, you gotta also bust the nuts over here. So you gotta get your ones on the sides as well. So we're going back to the T27. We're gonna loosen them up, back that off. Bam. Bam. And there she is. So we got that. Oops, that's not the bolt. There she is. We're gonna put this back with everything else, and we'll continue to take that guy off of there. There's the grip. All right, so once we got this guy loosened up, everything came off all at once. We got the grip off. Here's our sensor here. Looking good. Okay, so my next endeavor is going to be to go ahead and take off all of these cable ties here, and then we're going to go ahead and let our controls dangle. So now we're getting to the last few things. I already have my socket ready here. Those bolts right there are going to be a quarter inch Allen right there. I'm just going to stick that there for now. We're not actually on this step. I only have one wire coming out of my handlebars, right? And that's actually going to be for my throttle by wire. This is an 08, so it doesn't have all the features. But I just like to wiggle this wire, walk around back, and see what's moving, okay? So we're going to find that. This was cable tied right to this guy right here. It's optional whether or not you cable tie it again. This tab right here, we're going to go ahead and unlock that, and then we're going to go ahead and start loosening up the bars up there. All right, I'll be right back. So at this point, you should be getting pretty excited. We have 4 bolts left. Again, got my ultra medium. Quarter inch Allen. Those 4 right there. You're just gonna go ahead and start busting them nuts, just like we have been. There's 1. There's 2. 3. And 4. Try not to let that happen, obviously, if you care about your paint. This bike is ancient. It's a 2008. I'm not even that old. That's a lie. But you get the idea. If you haven't already, pull your cable through. You're going to want that, otherwise you're going to get those bars off, get excited, yank them, and then you're probably not going to have a good time. I'm just taking these bolts, I'm just kind of putting them in the seat. Some people, when they're doing this, they're going to take their gas tank off, seat off, and all that stuff, try to protect the paint. I'm not going to be that particular. This is a very used bike. It's got about 60,000 miles on it, so you can only imagine the true condition of this thing. And while it is fairly nice for 60,000 miles, I was going to feel better if something happens to it if I just keep on treating it the way that I do. And check that out. She's free. So just real quick before I move on to my next step here, which will be the bench work, we have on our controls, you have wires that lead to all your buttons here. And it seems that on the new bars, I actually have all that pre-wired. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pull these off of there. And then the one thing about it is it doesn't come with all the connections. So it's open-end spliceable wires. We're going to go ahead and pull all those off. This step may vary person to person depending on what you buy. I'm going to go ahead and pull those off of there, and I'm going to go ahead and solder up everything, heat shrink it, get it all nice and pretty, ready to go. And then all that wiring should go inside the handlebars instead of outside. Should look nice and neat. All right, so here's where we are. We're at the table I'm going to be using as a workbench. A few essential items. Got the old dead wood. We're going to be here a while, okay? Get you a beer, get you one of them. Strippers, you're going to need some of that, because we are going to be working on this here. This is what it looks like for me. All these wires actually, for the most part, should be color matching with the wires over here. So we're taking all of our controls, cutting off the connectors on this end, right? Leave plenty of room for yourself. And then we are going to solder them all together, get them all heat shrunk, make it all look nice and pretty, so that way it can go into the bars. And then we'll be on the rebuild phase. All right, guys, so as I got to doing this here, both of my connectors actually do not match wire for wire color, right? Now, the connectors themselves do match up, and my throttle by wire clicked right in, which is good, but of course that makes it a little bit less easy. So what I ended up doing, and what I'm going to do, so I took my old harness, right, separate out your wires, take note of which wires go where, right, and then we're going to, on our new one, same ordeal, separate them out, find what wire correlates with the same positioning, right, and then go and find it down there, and then you should have better luck. Okay, guys, just wanted to point this out. The couple different discrepancies that I saw on there. So first of all, you have 3 white and black wires. Those are very important, and they are what I believe would be the ignition wires. So all 3 of those go to just one wire on your harness side. So keep that in mind. So this is your switch side. You have 3 of those wires that go to one wire. Then next up, we had your purple wire coming from your ignition, or not from your ignition, we're just going to call it ignition side. Your ignition side goes to a pink and a black, so it's purple black to pink and black. And then orange wires right here, you have 2 orange and white that go to 1 orange and white. So keep that in mind, because on here you're going to have way more wires than what you have all the way down here on your connectors. So might as well be ahead of that, know it early, so that way when it happens to you, you're not like, what the crap. So this is one side done, all soldered and heat shrunk. Now I just got to do the other side, and then when it's time, I'm actually going to pull all this back through, but not quite time yet. I'm just going to let this sit for now. I got everything chopped and stripped. Couple things that I noticed is, yet again, on the switch side, I'm going to assume this is turn signal. You got another 2-into-1 wire, right? So I cut a little bit further down the harness, so that way I only had to use the one pre-existing wire, and then so the factory split is already there, so I don't have to do it myself. And then when actually looking at the different harnesses, I'm looking at my different harnesses. This one has a few extra wires in the connector. See if I can get this to focus. There we go. See, as you can see, it only doesn't use 2 slots. Whereas my old one, I have 4 blocked off. So I'm just going to assume that that's for features that I just don't have. So if you're seeing the same thing, just don't be alarmed. Just do the same thing. Start on your left, connect all your wires, go one at a time. And then same over here. That was split. That's no good. So I'm probably going to have something working that wasn't working before. I'm not sure what it was, but we'll find out. Finally got this to a point that I'm happy with. This took forever. Okay, I'm going to forewarn you guys right now. It probably took me 2 days working on this to actually get it right. Okay, this stuff right here worked pretty well for getting those wires through. My biggest thing was making sure that all my solder points just weren't all in the same spot. I may or may not have recapped that, but make sure that you don't put all your solder points in the same spot. Otherwise, you will struggle to get it through the hook part right here. But the rest of it's just patience, feeding the wire through one end and then pulling it. On here, for my throttle position sensor, I actually ended up deleting the connector. So I don't have any more connectors on there. That's straight soldered in. And that also helped with having 2 wiring harnesses going through this side of the bar. So, you know, I got everything kind of tucked in there, relatively nice. It's a lot of patience. It takes hours. It was probably 6 hours worth of work, just cutting, soldering, and test fitting, going in, getting it wrong, getting back in there, trying again. So, whew. If you're going to go in wet and wild. That's all I got to say. Just finished wrapping up those handlebars there. Got my controls on nice and loose. Getting ready to move on to doing my cabling and everything, because going up with the bars, you're going to need to figure out some routing with the cables. So now we'll see what we need to do. Am I going to be able to get everything on in one try, or will I get royally screwed? Let's find out. In case you were wondering, this is what we're looking like right there. No wires. Took several hours to do this. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out being for having taken as long as it has. I do not wish to do this ever again, but one day I might have to. Wondering, beer counter, we missed a couple, okay? This is probably beer number 6 for this job. So if you're doing this all at once, you're probably gonna be feeling pretty good. If you're not, welcome back to hell, my friend. Cheers. Today is day number 4 or 5. I've lost count at this point. We're on beer number probably about 7 or 8. So if you're doing this one day, slow down. Anyways, goal for today is going to be to go ahead and get our cables ran. I had to get an extended brake line because my brake lever just would not reach. And then I'm going to do the rerouting of our clutch cable on this side. So my goal is to have that done and then be able to start the bike, test my wiring. Hopefully everything went right. We will find out shortly. So with that, let's get it. Right here is going to be our clutch cable. You got 2 wrench sizes here. You got the 1/2 inch and the 9/16. So what we're going to do, and I've already done this just to double check my sizes so I know that they're right. If yours is not this size, then it's wrong. Take one there, one there, and you're going to break her loose. We're going to take this all the way in, and hopefully that loosens us up at the lever so we can get that cable out and then do our routing. So, with that being said, With that little bit of work we did there, now we got our lever and our cable. Should be able to just pop that bad boy right on out. However it works. That guy. Bam. Take that out. And there you go. There's your cable, brake lever. If you're going to replace these, now's the time to go ahead and do it. Because after this, we're at the point of no return. All right, so now that we've done our clutch side, let's go ahead and talk about our brakes. So if we go ahead and look in here, this is our brake lever, master cylinder. I have the extended brake lines, like I said. Some cases, you might just be able to take your brakes and put them up there. For me, that line gets way too taut, so we're gonna go ahead and replace that. I have a brand new one in the box over there. So we're gonna start off. I'm gonna go ahead and get my lever free. And then what I'm probably gonna do is bolt up my lever to the throttle side real fast. There's also a special trick in there that I need to show you because you don't want to cause damage inside of here. And then from that point on, we'll go ahead and loosen up our brackets and then get our hoses off of our calipers down here. And then we'll talk about bleeding, but that'll be later on in the video. So starting off, got this bolt right here, which I found to be a 12mm socket. Do what you can to protect your bike. These take .4, not .3. .4 is a highly corrosive brake fluid, so you definitely don't want to get it all over your bike if you can help it. If you do, get it off of there ASAP. Now we're going to see if I'm strong enough to do this here. Oh, there she goes. I definitely took some elbow grease. Try your best to keep this as far away as possible from all the paint. And when we get to that point, we're actually going to move kind of quick and try to pull this out from here and then drape it over here. So that way it doesn't get places where we don't want it to get to. Let's go ahead and undo our banjo bolt and our handle. Right there. Be mindful. There should be fluid in there. Definitely fluid in our lines. If you don't have fluid in your lines, you have a problem. And it's a good thing we're doing this. Let me reach through here real quick. Gonna just snake that guy on through. Again, be cautious of it, try not to leak everywhere. And there we are. We got a bolt right here where my finger is, and that is going to be a T40. So let's go ahead and loosen up that guy, and then we should be able to allow our brake lines to drop down, and then we'll take them off of either side caliper. This portion may vary. Some bikes might have one caliper, mine has two, so you got to do both the left and the right side. Same process for both. Get her on, crank her loose. It is just that easy. Sometimes. Next thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and take off these banjo bolts here, and it looks like it's actually integrated with a bleeder screw. I found it to be roughly a 1/2 inch. We're going to go ahead and break her loose. As you can see right there, she's already loose. I'm going to go ahead and get that off ASAP because we're already dripping, and I'd like to preserve some paint on my bike, if at all possible. I love bare metal as much as the next guy, but maybe not on my bike. Since I have the ability to, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of push all this down towards the ground here. That way I drip as little as possible on the bike. There we go. Well, we just got one more side to disconnect, and we'll have all the brake line off. The other side right here, same size, same concept. We're going to go ahead and break that loose. Get her off of there. And just like that, you have a brake line off. In case you're wondering why we're doing this, if you look here, from this section to the end, we're actually going to be gaining a couple inches, and that should be the couple inches that we need to keep her satisfied. Now, we have our brake line roughly routed through here. I'm going to go ahead and take the bolt and put it at the bottom, just so that way it holds, and we can kind of just more easily tell where everything's supposed to go. I'm just leaving this about finger tight. Now coming over here, got our new line. Should go right up in here. I'm just going to decide on how I like it. This right here is one of the swiveling ones. I think right there is probably going to be our best bet to keep it from being kinked. It's really nice. If you don't like it, you can adjust your angle. Put it right there. See how we like that look. That right there would kind of keep it away from things. So maybe we'll do it like this here. We're going to take our old banjo bolt, which also doubles as our bleeder screw. New pack of our brass or copper washers. Each one of these takes 2 washers, and we're going to make a brake line sandwich. So one right there on our bolt, and that's going to go right there in our line, and another washer on the other side of the line. Looks delicious. Then we're going to take this whole shebang. We're going to go ahead and screw her down. Just like that. That is one side of our brake line done. And we just got to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll check in at the top there. We've done our caliper side. Now we need to do our lever side. In my case, I still have brake fluid in here. You may or may not, depending on what you did. That's on you. We're just going to make our brake fluid sandwich again. Super yummy. So we have our crush washer here on our banjo bolt. Slide her on through. Another one. Again, looks super yummy. Please don't take a bite. And if you do, that's on you. Call a doctor. So I'm going to keep that kind of loose and be fully aware that what I'm about to do is probably going to squirt some brake fluid because this is loose. So keep that in mind. Again, keep a rag handy. I've clearly failed to do so. Got our mounting hardware for our lever. And this is where we want to be mindful, okay? So if we're looking right up in here, there's a little button right there. Try not to break that button, okay? So in order to not do that, we're gonna squeeze our lever in as we're lining everything up. We're gonna place it on there, and then we're gonna clamp her down. There's our alignment pin right there. See how we're looking. Looks pretty all right. So what I'm doing here is I have my hands holding the brake lever. I'm using my thumb to push all my hardware together. Keep her all nice and lined up. All right, that should be good enough to relax. We got past the button. If you look inside of here, when we pull our brake lever, there's a little flap right in there. Pulling our brake lever in is what allows us to clear that button. And what this is that's our brake switch. So when you pull your lever in, what's happening is you're actually releasing the brake switch, and that's what turns your lights on. And then when you let go, you're opening the circuit to turn your lights off. So if you break that, your lights will be on constantly, and that's not a good sign. You want people to know when you're braking. So be mindful. Now I'm going to route my hose in a way that I like. And this is going to be temporary for me because I still have yet to set my bar angle. So I'm gonna lightly snug this down so that way I can keep on working, and then we're gonna continue to put stuff together, get it to where I can get my bars back straight, sit on it, get a good angle, and then from there, I'll lock this down when I like my positioning. So our next steps, we're gonna go ahead and take off our header bolts right there. There's one. Right there's number 2. And then the same on the other side. A little bit less lighting over there, but you get the same idea, just 2 bolts. And you should be able to slide that back a little bit, and then we will start working on getting off our cover over here that has our clutch cable attached to it. This side over here is going to be a bit easier to see, but it's just 2 nuts there, and there's one underneath right there, and they're just 1/2 inch again, so not too hard, just got to get them broken loose. All right, just to let you guys know, in here, to get that bottom stud, the winning combination, I used a 1-inch wobbling extension along with my stubby 1/2 inch socket. Right here, little wobbly extensions, the socket can move around a little bit, so it's definitely a tight fit. Definitely was not easy getting out, but now I know how to get it out. Putting it back in should be way easier. So before you can get your header bolts both out, you actually have to remove your little chrome cover right here. So it's got 2 little hose clamps holding it in place. These are both 8 mils. Just run them all the way out so that way you can get it off your pipe. And then those nuts should just come right on out. Next up, I'm going to work on taking off my chrome covers again on the other pipe. These actually, there's a point where they join right where that clamp is. I don't know if you see the clamp right there. So we're going to try to get the chrome cover off, loosen up that clamp, and we should be able to pull the pipe off towards us. Here's number 1, still an 8mm. Now on the other side of the bike, you have 1, 2, and 3. This piece will come off first, and then this piece will come off, and you should have access to that guy. In order to get to this middle one right here, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull my seat off. I just have a thumb screw, and then the seat will slide right off. Here's that thumb screw. Just pull that guy off of there. Mine has a washer, so keep an eye out for that washer. There you go. On your seat. Just like that, one-handed. Got my saddlebag popped off of there, and then now it's just a matter of getting this guy off. And that's just a pull. And there you go. Now all that's out of the way, look how much room you got. All the room in the world. So now I'm just going to go ahead and undo my exhaust clamp right here, which is a 9/16. I just left these shields loose because I think that I might be able to find the right angle of the dangle. Just go ahead and give her a quick shove. Okay, so what I've ended up doing is just essentially removing my exhaust. On the ends of them, there's 1/2 inch bolts. There's 2 on that side, 2 on the other side. I loosened up that 1/2 inch nut over there. And then I had to kind of, with 2 hands, use one hand and wiggle it back and forth and up and down. And the other hand, just applying steady pressure towards yourself. And with enough persistence, it will eventually come off. That was not very fun. I'm definitely going to clean that off before I put it back on there. But we got that off. I have one more bolt. And it's right on the underside, right here. The exhaust. Let me see if I can get an angle on it. 9/16 wrench. So right here, see just underneath that cover right there. 9/16. Loosen her up. And this should be the last thing holding on my exhaust. Hopefully I can at least get a decent amount of wiggle room going. So that way I can get access to that cover. I don't know if I'm gonna try to get it all the way off, but certainly most of the way, enough to do what I need to do. So as you can see, we got it out. And then pro tip while you're doing this, so this goes down that way, right? Make sure that you're pushing this down so that way the square drive right there is actually sitting down those holes and you can actually get this undone. If not, if you just sit there and you're turning that nut down here, then this is just gonna free spin and you don't want that. So just take a thumb or a finger and stick it through here and just hold that down right there as you loosen her up, and she'll come right out of there, and then we should see a lot more movement in the exhaust. So I'll see if I can either work with this amount of movement or if I can get this exhaust all the way off of there. We'll kind of test our luck and see, and we'll go from there. We have enough movement now to where we can start fitting some Allen keys in there. So I'm going to try to use this small one and try to get the harder to reach ones, which would be this one here and this one here. And as long as I can do that, then the rest of them should be cake with the ratchet. So I just got the hard part out of the way. I got this bolt done and this bolt out. All I had to do, I have all this over here for leverage. For the first one, all I had to do was just kind of pull it out. And then for that one there, you got to pull out and up, right? And then you'll be able to just kind of quarter turn, eighth turn it, get them out of there. And you'll just have enough clearance to get them out. That's all. Just take this, pull out, or pull out and up. And then that'll give you all the clearance that you need to get everything out there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do the other ones real fast. Something to note is that our bolts for this job, two different sizes, okay? So make sure you put these back in right. This one came off the side, this one came off the top left. Well, I haven't said it already, this is a 3/16 Allen key. So we're gonna go ahead and take those off so that way you can see them. Getting in is always the hardest part, but I think we've managed. So this one here is our bottom left. And it is, well, that one's relatively long. Our far left, our bottom left has been long. Let's check out bottom right. And it is long. Long. This might just fall off of there, we'll see. Short. So it's the top two that are short, every other one is long. Just keep that in mind. Top two short, all the others are long. We're gonna go ahead and snake this guy out of there. We're just gonna go ahead and give her a small little pull. All I did was same way to get it out, just kind of give the exhaust a little pull. She popped right on out of there. So now we have a little bit of bench work. Of course, on this one, get you a new gasket. I got the gasket off the same place I got the cable. So shout out JMP Cycles. I'm gonna go ahead and shout them out. Even though I try not to do too much product placement because I'm not sponsored. So I paid my own money for all this stuff. But as you can see, this right here is where our cable's hooked up to. So you need to get some snap ring pliers, work the snap ring out of there, and then work the cable out, unscrew it from the housing, and then we'll screw in our new one, rehook up the fitting, get that bad boy back in there, and then we should be set. I'm probably going to go ahead and take this outside and do it there. So when you get the snap ring off of there, this is kind of what you're going to see underneath. You have this guy, which is attached to your cable. All you're going to do is just rotate this off your cable, and then you can just take it right off of there. And then you have 3 ball bearings, so keep in mind where those are. I'm going to go ahead and actually move these over to here and just hold on to them for right now. But these are very important. Very important. So put those in a safe place, wait until you're ready to use them again. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and screw this guy out. I'll go ahead and take that guy out of there too, just because. But yeah, we'll unscrew our cable from the housing, and then we will slide our new cable right in its place. Just got it out. One thing quick to note, when I pulled out my old cable, my gasket stayed in there. Make sure to take that out of there because you will leak your transmission fluid all over the place. Your new cable is going to have one of those gaskets on the end there. So, no need to have two of them. That's never good. Now we're getting ready to reinstall our cover here. One thing to note is make sure this is all the way up against the housing this way. This right here is when you have your clutch pulled in. As you can see, those ball bearings actually pushes up and out. See that action right there? So we don't want to mess up anything when it comes to adjusting our clutch. So make sure that's all the way that way before you actually go put that in there. That's really the last major note that I have for this job. So I'm going to actually go ahead and put this back together. Then after that, we should be about set. Then it's just doing the finishing touches, getting everything back together as far as our fairings go, and then getting our turn signal bulbs back and all that fun stuff. And then here soon we should have a freshly re-handlebarred motorcycle, which is very exciting. So stay tuned. So my goal here is I'm trying to reline up all my dowel pins here inside the fairing. So there's 4 total, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. They both look a little bit different. We're just going to, same as last time, pull the fairing apart a little bit so that way we get a little bit of stretch in the plastic, and then just slide them on over. That's all it is. It's just a sliding motion to get them on there. With my handlebars now being turned, this might make it a little bit more of a process, but hey, we're here for a good time. So I'm just gonna slide her on over. There she is. Wow, wasn't too bad. That's in place. There we go. So now the fairing's back on. Before you get this far, you definitely want to make sure that you have, in fact, tightened your most rearward, well, I should say most forward 2 mounting bolts for your handlebars. So I have 2 bolts tight, 2 bolts are loose. This connector here, and I'm just going to go ahead and try to fix it myself, is that it's got 2 little fins on either side, and they seem not to line up. Now that's weird because all my pins and everything line up, all my wires line up, but my connector is slightly different. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna shave that side off that doesn't actually fit. And whether or not that's actually what you're supposed to do, well, you know, we're not gonna talk about it. That's what I'm doing. Clicked right in. So, you know, it is what it is. If you have that same problem, now you see what to do. Just go ahead and shave that guy off of there, officially, unofficially, you know, and click her on in. That one went right in, no problem. So far, only had one issue with one connector, and it was very minor. Still clicked right in. Throttle by wire next. Right there. Bam. All right, so now all my controls should be hooked up. Throttle by wire is hooked up. Now we just gotta put some stuff together in the front so that way we can test it. So making progress, things are going pretty good. So now we're back on this side of the bike. I find it a little bit less important to show this part of getting back together. I probably will touch up on what you do over here because this matters, and if you don't get that right, your key's probably not going to react correctly to your bike. But we're going to go ahead and start putting some stuff back together, starting with our spacers here, and then getting this panel on, getting that guy hooked up, and then we'll go from there. So stay tuned. All right, so this is the mode that we've been working for. I got my ignition switch on there before I actually put this panel on, you know, just before we get too deep into all the reinstall. I want to make sure everything still worked. Also, now is a good time to go ahead and figure out your desired angle, which now you can see I can turn my fairing a little bit. Let me go ahead and snug these down and then we'll do our test. Time to test it. I have the bars in a position that I think is going to be pretty comfortable for myself. So we're going to go ahead and turn the ignition really fast and see how we did. So there's that. Prime the fuel pump, that's good, because I actually have the run switch on. So got that. Turn signal, good. Turn signal, good. Looks like the high beams are on, which means that works. Cool. Let's see, let me mess with, it won't let me mess with the cruise control, but guess we'll find that out later. I don't know if I can actually shift this. I don't have my, I don't have it out of gear yet. There we go. Oh yeah, just slid right in the neutral. We'll see if I can start it. Should be in neutral. Sure hope it's in neutral. Otherwise, this will be bad, because I also don't have my brake. Here we go. Looks good. So, got throttle function, that's good. All these seem to work, plus my turn signal seems to work. All these seem to work, plus my turn signal over here seems to work. So now it's just finalizing. A few more adjustments and we should be about good. Looks like she will live. We did a good job, worth the effort. Let's go. All right, everybody, now that we got it all wrapped up, let's go ahead and take a few action shots here, show off the bike. Here it is behind me. And without further ado, let's check it out. So that's going to wrap up our video for today. This one did take me weeks to do, so if you liked the video, please make sure to like and comment on the video. I did have a lot of fun. This was a very fun project. Don't expect this to take one day, but it is doable. Hopefully this helps a lot of you guys out there. See ya.